Hi everyone, welcome to my innovation presentation. I'm Eric Brown, and today I'm going to share with you my motion sensing candle extinguisher prototype. I should probably start by telling you that my background is in electronics engineering technology through NAIT. Since graduating, I've been working as a project specialist installing fire alarm and security systems in hospitals, government buildings, industrial facilities, and other places like that. So while it might seem complicated at first, my prototype is actually quite simple. I basically threw it together using some spare parts I had left over after some jobs. You'll know what I mean when you see it. I came up with my idea after remembering the time I came home with my wife to discover that we'd left a scented candle burning unattended for several hours. I'm sure I'm not the only person this has happened to, and it presents many problems. For one, and most obviously, it's incredibly dangerous. According to the NFPA, in the US between 2009 and 2013, 9,300 house fires were started by candles each year. On average, they resulted in 86 deaths and hundreds of injuries. Less importantly, but much more likely, you've wasted your candle and your house has an overwhelming odor of lavender. My innovation is to take a decorative candle holder and modify it so that it automatically extinguishes the candle if you leave the room. To make my prototype, I needed a lid with a hinge on it to close the opening and deprive the flame of oxygen, an electromagnet to hold open the lid. Many of you probably remember making these in elementary school with a battery, a nail, and some wire. Mine is essentially the same. I needed a motion sensor to sense movement, a timer module to reset the countdown when the motion sensor activates, and a power supply with a plug-in and rechargeable battery to power its parts anywhere. I also added a power switch, a dial to adjust the time, and a very sophisticated enclosure, which is a coffee can. The motion sensor in particular is what makes this prototype innovative. I did find a couple of automatic candle extinguishers that snuff out candles, but one only works on candlesticks, and both require you to set a time for it to be lit and extinguish it after that time. If you set it for an hour and leave the room 5 minutes later, you have an unattended candle burning for 55 minutes. My design allows you to set it for the amount of time you feel comfortable leaving it unattended. Long enough to go to the bathroom or check on something in the oven. Fire Prevention Canada suggests extinguishing candles when you leave the room, and this acts as a fail-safe so you can't forget. It also allows you to use real candles of just about any size, as long as the lid can properly close. It also smothers the flame, so the smell of smoke doesn't overpower your nice-smelling room from the scented candle. My design also uses a pet motion sensor, which is used in home alarm systems so that your cat doesn't accidentally set off the alarm. Similarly, your cat won't reset your timer. But my design is not perfect. An open flame can always be dangerous, and you need to be safe, especially when children are present. It's also possible for your candle to go out earlier than intended if you block the motion sensor or you sit in a blind spot, for example. But all you really need to do is reset it and relight your candle. For the user, this is a very simple product. Turn it on, lift the lid, set the timer, and light your candle. You don't even have to worry about blowing it out. There are some improvements that could be made for the future. The electronics could be modified to be much smaller, leaving you with a much nicer product. More motion sensors could be added to reduce blind spots, making it a little bit more efficient. And the lid could be nicer looking as well, and seal better to extinguish the candle more quickly. The message is quite clear. There's no need for the user to understand all the individual components of the device. What they need to know is that it makes your candle safer and it reduces anxiety. There's no need to worry about whether it's out. If you've left the room, it's out. The decorative holder is something that my wife and I already use all the time. Lots of people have them. The only new thing you need to understand is setting the time and opening the lid. The most important thing is that it doesn't stay open longer than you want it to. All of these components are well tested, and if any part fails, the magnet will lose power and the lid will close, extinguishing the candle. It's very simple to use, and it can be made quite inexpensive. It could be sold online or in stores, and the reduced anxiety make it worth trying. But if you don't like most products, it can be returned. And since my wife made me promise not to break her expensive candle holder, you can always take the lid off, remove it from the base, and just use the decorative part. Thanks for watching, and please watch my demonstration video to see my prototype in action.